Hello, and welcome to Tell Me How You Did It. I'm Namrata Zakaria, and I'm here to bring to you my handpicked list of some of India's finest brands. Yes, our best homegrown companies that can compete with the world's best and still win the battle hands down. These companies range from food, fashion, and film to home, art, and design. I'm only too happy to talk to the founders who not only chased their rainbows, they also made India proud. Make sure you tune in at htsmartcast.com week after week to shake the hands that built our best businesses. Listen to them tell me how they did it. In 2010, an unusually pretty little shop opened up in Hauz Khas, a sleepy little area of Old Delhi. It was a shop that sold leather goods. And except for the black and white vintage style photographs they had used as tapestry, you wouldn't believe it was an Indian company. Its designs were contemporary, its penchant for detailing was painful. All this made it really unique. Boutiques like this come and go, but Nappa Dori has only grown. It's now available in several countries across the world and it has stores in prime locations. It also has e-commerce, which is very popular. I'm talking to its founder, a creative visionary, no less, Gautam Sinha. Hello and welcome to the show, Gautam.
Thanks, Namrata. That's a pretty interesting intro, which I haven't really, you know, heard before. So, which is good. It's
I'm
good to
not
know
done as
something.
yet. I'm not yet done with my intro. I want to tell you that I actually discovered Nappa Dori a few years ago on a flight, a Qatar Airlines flight. I was going to Europe on a business trip, and of course, in my 20 years, I've had several work trips in business class, but I've never been this excited about an amenity kit. I don't even know who did the toiletries or what they were. I was just happy to pick up those pretty pouches. And because I had a stopover in Doha, I was just happy to pick up four of them.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's been one of our biggest collaborations till date.
Is, is it still on?
Well, nothing's on right now, so
Yeah,
sadly,
yeah, yeah.
there's no flight anywhere. But it's at the latter stage of its end. So
The deal is still on.
yeah, it's still
Great.
on. It's still in the airlines. So.
Great. Gautam, I love the journey you've made. You've created this top notch, world class brand. But I read in an interview that you had a really simple upbringing, that you couldn't afford to go to an international design school, and you went to NIFT in New Delhi, and then you went to Kanpur to learn, to work with leather workers and train there. Tell us about those days.
Oh, you really done your research, huh? Like,
Oh,
uh,
you're very famous.
oh, not at all. I think you just have good sources. No, but yeah, like, so I've always like I'm a Delhi boy, so like I've always born and brought up here. Uh, Single mom, two boys. So my mother brought us up. So life wasn't really easy at that point of time, especially for a single lady to bring two boys up. Uh, and Yeah, so we were doing our bit. I don't come from an affluent family or anything like that, but life was had its own little struggles. I was a academic retard, is what I would say to myself. Is
Oh, that's just rude.
But it was like I always thought I was stupid because I didn't know that I was massively dyslexic. And in India, you don't really get to know that you're dyslexic.
No,
You just
no.
need to know that you're stupid. That's the word for it. And so I was never good at studies, and I really didn't really enjoy going to school. Uh, I flunked 2 years of my life in school. I flunked my fourth grade and the fifth grade, so it was a complete disaster. And when I was about to pass out, the only thing I knew that I wanted to do was I knew that I was good at sketching. So I thought, okay, let's go to a design school or something that's more creative, because that's where I can actually express myself. And
Right.
in India at that point of time, there was like a couple of institutes that are obviously there, are anchor institutes in India. But I had actually applied for RISD, which is Rhode Island School of Design, and I
Yes.
sent them my portfolio,
Yes.
and I got through, but I just didn't have the money for the tuition fee, so like that didn't happen. So the next best thing was getting into a college in Delhi, and whatever I got, because I had to get to college, and um, and that's where it started. Like I just did 3 years there. I actually didn't graduate. That's the reality of
No.
it. Yeah, like it was more to do, as I said, like life was tough. So my main objective in that point was to get a job and just earn money, and that was mission number one. And the rest was okay. I'll do something creative, and I passed out, but I never really got my degree. I still haven't got it actually. Uh,
Oh.
and I started working in a company which used to do Christmas ornaments, and just suddenly got a job there, and I took it, whatever came my way, and they were making bumblebees and daisies and Christmas hangings for the German market. It was a little tiny little company in Nizamuddin, and I started working there, and I started enjoying what I was doing. It's the first time in my life I was actually expressing my own creativity, which was refreshing, because you don't get to do that. And I was actually, it was like a hobby that was a job, which was like working out perfectly for me. And but you can only make as many bumblebees and daisies in 2 years. I worked there for 2 years and I got fed up, but it taught me a lot. uh, it taught me how export house works and a business works, and I was very inquisitive about things, in how to make an invoice or how to make a product sheet, and I learned the ropes there. And after that, I just didn't know what to do after that. Like I was took about a 6 month sabbatical of sorts, and and when I say sabbatical, I was jobless, and and eventually, just leather just happened. It wasn't something that I was really seeking or trying to build something in that zone, but it just happened. It came to me, rather than me finding it. And an aunt of
Do you know,
mine
it's
asked
such
me,
an inspiring story because, and I'm going to say this, I've seen many companies being set up by people who come from legacy money. It's almost like this hard scrabble start doesn't exist for them. It's almost like they're given this play around money to burn. How would you have done things differently if you had, let's say, unlimited resources?
"Oh boy, uh,
Did you ever
I
think about
really don't."
it?
Yeah, I honestly, yes and no. I've really never thought about it. I started this with the fact that I didn't have anything. I was like, honestly, Namrata, I was like turning 31 almost at that point of time, and I had like 3 or 4 lakh rupees in my pocket, and I was not in a happy place. And
Yeah.
like I was like, my life's passing by, and I've not really done anything, and I've been working for companies, and I need to do something on my own, and I will give it a shot. And if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, I'll pack my bags and see where to go next. And that's how Nappa Dori actually happened. And it was just for me to vent out my own frustrations and my own creativity in a way, and
Yeah.
channel it in a way.
Yeah.
And
And you were
and
saying how leather came to you, how you arrived at leather.
yeah, that was the one. That was before I started Nappa Dori. Like an aunt of mine actually asked me if she was an exporter, and she was like, "Oh, you're not doing anything. So some buyers of mine are coming from Denmark, and would you like to make some belts for them? Leather belts. They're looking for leather belts. So if you can do that, you're from a design school, right?" And I'm like, yeah, but I've never really done anything in leather. But then I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And
Yeah.
I actually ended up doing that order, which went off really well. That's
Yeah.
the time I went to Kanpur to source leather, because I didn't know where to go to find
Yeah.
leather.
Yeah.
And I ended up executing that order. The company really liked it.
Yeah.
And while I was doing this, I was sending them 2, 3 of my own designs, because I was like, okay, their belt is nice, but it could be better like this. And it was a pretty naive thing for me to do, but it actually kind of worked in my favor at that point because they ended up choosing those designers as well.
Mm.
And eventually it became like a relationship where I was making designs for them, and they were like, Gautam, why are we hiring designers in Copenhagen if you're doing most of the designs? So why don't you just send us what you think is right and we'll choose something out of it? And that's how it started. So at 24, I think I was 24 at that point of time, and I started my first company called Definite Design
Okay.
because I needed to send the belts to Copenhagen. I didn't have a company. So I just learned the ropes of how to register a company. I registered it with the Export Council, did my paperwork, and sent those belts. And it was suddenly okay. This could be a business. And then 6 years of that, of everything that came my way, I designed. So like, if someone wanted menu covers, if someone wanted in-room, dining trays, or anything that came my way, I just said yes. Okay, I'll do it. I'll make it. And I think that really helped me and to develop design in totality in terms of different materials. And leather was not just the only material that I worked with,
Yeah.
but that kind of was the most important out of the lot because it had a certain perceived value to it.
Yeah.
And uh, and I thought that that would be a nice material to explore more when I do end up
Yeah.
doing my.
I love that, it's largely like travel goods, suitcases and trunks. There's an old world sort of romanticism to them.
Because I
Um,
never had the money to travel, so I was like, okay, let's just make travel gear.
that's just lovely. That's just a very sweet story. But is it commercially viable, like belts, bags, shoes?
So, uh, you know, honestly, like if I ever have to give any advice to anyone in terms of starting a business, I did everything wrong in terms of what I designed and what I made was not commercially viable, was not really useful, and it just looked nice. And honestly, that kind of worked in my favor at that point of time. I made trunks which are completely redundant, but they just looked nice because my dad was from the forces, and I was always surrounded by these metal trunks, and I was like, okay, I wish they were colored. They were just not colored, and that's the reason that those trunks came up. And like nuances from my childhood, I was just like picking
Yeah.
them up and designing them.
Yeah.
But I guess ignorance is bliss. I started this with a collection which was just four trunks in different colors and a couple of bags with some imagery on it, and found a store in Hauz Khas, and that was affordable. And I knew that I could pay 1 year's rent of that store, and it was nothing. It was like what 12,000 rupees a month. So I
That's
was like, okay,
fantastic. Horse
yeah,
cast doesn't have is nothing close to that now.
but it was a scooter garage, so it wasn't really a store.
Oh,
It was under someone's staircase, like a little scooter garage that I started in. So it was expensive for a little tiny little hole like that. But I was like, you know what? Like if I can't afford to spend a lakh 70 and make that money in a year's time, then I'm definitely not in the right business. So from the get go, I knew that I wanted to be commercially viable in some way so that I could make
yeah,
my money.
yeah,
So signature products were there, the trunks and everything, but the ones that sold were the wristbands and the belts, which I had more grasp in terms of I knew what I was selling. And and it just went from there. It was just like I just did a like tiny little Nappa Dori sign and just put the things in. And I was actually the salesperson for the first 2 years.
Gautam, can you tell us? I mean, I love the idea of leather as an artisanal craft. Can you tell us a little about its like Indian heritage?
Sure, like I've also learned this, so I'm not a really as much as I'm in leather. I'm not an expert in the history of leather in India, but at
We'll
the
take your word for it.
no, but what I've gathered from the years of experience is what I'm going to say is the fact that we are one of the biggest, raw material exporters in the world. So, which I
Right,
also have no clue. And
right.
everyone talks about Italian leather and Brazilian leather, and all that is yes, fine quality leather. But India is one of the largest exporters of leather goods, and finished and raw material.
Yeah.
and which was kind of a surprise to me as well. And I was like, but why aren't we known for it? That's stuck in my head. Like, why aren't we known for the fact that we do good leather products? And Louis Vuitton ended up having a factory for a few years in India,
Yeah,
which is
that's
their
right. Yeah.
first ever factory outside the country. And
Yeah.
and so there is quality and there is substance out here. And but I guess as Indians, we don't know how to market things properly, and we are too shy to express. We are good
Right.
as manufacturers, but we're
Yeah.
not good at selling. We need the quick buck, but
Yeah.
we don't want to do the whole drill of a long road and find and establish a name. Brands are not made in a year or two.
Yeah.
Well, so that kind of stuck around. And yeah, in terms of leather, other than that, is just a super versatile material. You can do so much with it. Like
It's the
it's one of the
first
oldest.
it's the first material we used.
Yeah, it's the oldest material that human beings ever used, mankind ever
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
And it's something that is so versatile that you can use it in all sorts of ways, and you can
Yeah.
mold it and make shapes out of it, and it's malleable and it's tactile. And uh, and I just loved it, and I love the fact that I could do so many different products. If leather was a material where I could just do one type of product or just
Yeah.
do garment, I don't
Yeah.
think I might have chosen it.
Yeah.
But in leather, you can do so much. You can make furniture, you can
Yeah.
make clothing, you can make all sorts of things.
Accessories, yeah. And I always argue that, leather is actually one of the most sustainable products. It's so long lasting, a good quality item can last you for generations. Um, you've said to me you've got some ethical sort of certification. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, in terms of so when I started this, I obviously didn't know much about certain things. And over the years, we have obviously been mindful on how we want to go forward as a brand. And we do have certified tanneries that do leather products and raw material within India. And we have
Yeah.
another factory in Calcutta which does eco leather, which is, I think, we are the one of the only few companies that are using it.
What is eco
Mainly,
leather?
eco leather mainly means it's obviously coming from the right sources. It's certified. Along with it, there's no chrome that's been used in it, which is very harmful in terms of
Okay.
producing. And
Okay.
chrome is a chemical product which is used in processing raw leather.
Okay.
And equally, it's environmentally friendly. It's biodegradable.
Okay.
It's the closest form to pure product that you will come to. And a lot of European companies use eco leather, but not. I don't know how many Indian companies are using it. I can't talk about others, but we because it's expensive as well, and it's veg dyed and vegetable dyes and all those things are part of it. And so yeah, so like we started using that in our product line and introducing it. Hence, the product cost went up. Things like that
Okay.
happen. And but then we were like, you know what, like let's just keep it at that level and just go forward from it and see how it goes. And and obviously we have now expanded into a lot more other things, so it's good. The
Also,
brand
Cafe
expanding.
Dory. You recently started Cafe Dory, which is a wonderful experiential sort of idea. Come to our beautiful shop, look at our, beautiful old world things in it, just sit down and stare for a bit. But restaurants, cafes are a completely different vertical. So, was this a bit of a risk?
Yes, a massive risk.
Okay.
It wasn't easy, but Cafe Dory was in the mix for almost 2 years before it actually happened. I'm a massive coffee addict. I can't do without like 6 cups of coffee in a day, and I absolutely
That's
enjoy
not
that.
on. That's not even healthy.
I know, but like, it is what it is. I'm allowed to have one vice. Uh, and so Cafe Dory was meant to be just a cafe, like a tiny little coffee shop.
Yeah.
But when I saw this space, which was where our first cafe was made in Dunmill, it was a warehouse, and it was a massive space. And we thought, okay, you know why? Let's make our atelier and our factory within this space, and let's have a little coffee, and the people can come and experience it. But it just took over, and it just morphed into something bigger than what it was. And we made a all dining, all day dining cafe where we have an extensive menu, pan European menu, and I just did things that I liked. So coffee, I'm big on breakfast, so eggs, and just roll with it. Like, make all sorts of egg Benedicts and frontings, Turkish eggs, whatever you want. And I was like telling my team, let's start it at 7 in the morning. And reality obviously hit that Delhi does not wake up, and then we had to change our timings. But we've learned over the years, and I think it's done pretty well for itself. And as I said, it's morphed into something bigger, but it was more to do with letting the customer come in and experience the space and the product, but not selling the product, which is really important. So I always tell my team, don't sell the product, sell the experience.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, and if you can resonate in someone's head after they've left the store, is a win for us. So if you come in, you're surrounded by design, you're surrounded by
Yeah.
things like decor, and it should make you smile and make you feel that you belong there. And if that's a win for us. So if I can do that, and that's why
Yeah.
we take how we do our stores really importantly, like how the customer experience is supposed to be. Because you can shop online if you have to, like,
Yeah.
and the world shopping online, we all know it right now. So how do you retain your customer base, and how do you make things more tactile is very important. And I don't think retail brick and mortar is going anywhere. So just that's my take on how things are right now. And I keep hearing things that, okay, everyone's going online, and yes they are, but you can't live your life online. You have
Yeah.
to go out, you have to
Yeah.
experience things. We are human beings, we need physical touch, we need
Yeah.
tactile, environment. And it's important, and it will come back. And uh, and we're kind of gearing up ourselves, at least, when it comes back.
Yeah. I love how you run a business emotionally, logically, emotionally, personally, instead of just following the herd. You just listen to your heart and your tastes, I think.
Yeah, I think it's kind of worked uh, in my favor. I've always been kind of, my team always says, Gautam, we're not doing this, and this is what's trending right now. And I'm like, yeah, but it's trending, that means it'll go away. So you need to understand, trends don't stay.
Yeah.
But if you do a classic product, it will stay. So let's engrave that in the customer's head, that we are here to stay. And if they know that we are here to stay, they will keep coming back.
That's
And
fantastic.
and that kind of resonates in the products that we come, and the designs that we come out with. So show them nostalgic value.
So you were talking about customer experience. Has the Indian customer changed or evolved in any direction in the last decade?
Oh, for sure.
Tell me
uh,
how.
well, a true example is Nappa Dori. I would not be able to exist in India if the customer base was not evolved enough. And that is a true testament on how mature the Indian customer is. And we don't give them enough credit for what they are. Like we always say, oh, international brands, and we'll go outside London and we'll get things from there, and Indian people just want to shop abroad and da da da. But they've never had the opportunity to experience things back home. And if you can't evolve and teach people around you, you need to show people what they want. People are very fickle. And if you can crack that model, then you're in a good space. And I think the younger generation is a lot more prouder to be Indian, which was not the case about 10, 15 years back. And that's the sad fact. And now it's changing. The younger generation is proud to be Indian. The younger generation wants to carry an Indian brand, and they're proud to showcase that, which is a amazing transformation from how we were and how we are, and how we are proud to be who we are. And I think that's helped brands like us evolve and be proud to be Indian as well.
Are you
Otherwise, we
entirely?
get sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I
You
just said
was.
hence you will say that, hence you will see the change in names also. Like earlier, they were always, references to abroad and da da da, and now you get Indian names for brands. Like that's a massive change.
Yeah.
It's a mindset.
Yeah. Are you entirely self-funded?
Yes,
If you were looking for investors, what would you expect them to do for you?
leave me alone. Uh, just give me money.
What
uh,
what role would you want them to play?
I think so. I've seen a lot of brands take money and grow really fast and evolve into big brands, and some of them are success stories, some of them aren't. And I, this is my life, so it's very close to my heart. I came from nothing. I've started this. I still don't have any money in my bank, but I know that I have something that I can call my own, and and it's evolving. It's going into a direction, but it's brewing at the same time. So I need someone who might come in, give it time to brew, because I think a lot of people are, it's an insta world, and insta world kind of works in all sorts of facets. And I think if I find the right partner who understands how a brand, how brands are made, and if you're trying to create a legacy or are you trying to create a quick buck, which is very different things.
Yeah.
And I think we have reached a saturation point where we would need funding, because there's a certain pivot that you need.
Yeah.
And I'm mindful of that. It's not that I'm completely emotionally attached to certain things, but at the same time I do understand the fact that the brand needs to grow organically as well. And and if we find someone who understands all these things, yes, it'll be a good partnership. Someone who can add things to the brand rather than money.
Yeah, fair enough. How has COVID changed the game for you? I mean, I know it's been hard to maintain some stores, but what is different now with Nappa Dori from 2019?
Uh, well, it's been hard. It's been really hard for a self-funded brand like mine. We work from month to month and we pay the bills and we go forward and we take small steps. We take them, and we take, they might be strong or small steps, but we take solid steps.
Yeah,
And it's been really hard. And
yeah,
we've shut 3 stores over the last year and a half. And my first store, Hauz Khas store, actually shut, which was very emotional. And but it's made us understand certain things about where we were going wrong as well. And I would, uh, I'm not talking about online or us being online, because I think we were in that game a lot before COVID hit, which
yeah,
was
that's
really good
right.
which was good from our end. So we knew how online worked, and it was not something that we were learning at this point of time, and we were scattered and trying to get online. So we were are we were pretty systematic in terms of how we handled it. But obviously money is a massive part of a brand and growth, and it's really hurt us in a big way. But we are there. We are still exploring new stores, and we are still exploring things. I've told my team we just need to keep moving forward. It will pass. Everything
Yeah.
pass.
But
So
how did e-commerce work for you in the last year and a half?
e-commerce, obviously business has picked up a lot more than what it
Yeah.
used to be. It's gone fourfold. And we have obviously uh, created our own in-house team to do things, and we are pushing that forward, obviously, like any other brand, because we need to make sales. But I honestly feel brick and mortar, as I said before as well, is something that is going to stay forever. It's not going to go anywhere. So we need to focus on both. So we can't completely neglect the stores that are shut right
Fair
now,
enough. Yeah.
and we need to reactivate them. So as much as we are focused on e-commerce right now, I've been telling my team, let's focus back on the stores and how we can make it more accessible for people when we open, and that's what we're focusing on.
Where do you see Nappa Dori 10 years from now? What's your next decade going to look like? Unlimited
Uh,
resources. I'm giving you unlimited resources.
oh, then I don't know. Unlimited resources would make the story very different. But we've stepped outside India, which is good. We've
Yeah.
opened a store in London.
Yeah.
It's been a very humbling and exciting kind of experience for us, where you go from a pool which has about 10 good brands in a little pond to still a little pond, but 1,500 good brands and world
You're
class brands.
you're at Covent Garden in London?
Yes, we are. And so suddenly you're in this sudden mix of all the best brands in the world,
Yeah.
and you're trying to stand your own ground, which is an amazing learning experience. And but we haven't been scared of that, because we know that uh, we do a quality product, and the product that we sell has a very universal palette to it, and in terms of it kind of resonates with everyone from every country. And if you like design, you will like the product. It's as simple as that. You don't need to be from a certain place. And that's worked really well for us. And we do have a tiny little cafe there as well, where we sell masala chai.
Are you
And
serious?
yeah, we give it in coolers and we sell it for £3.50, which I'm very proud of. And
Give it back.
yeah, give it back to the English. I shouldn't be saying this online, but we're selling our tea there, and it's doing really well. And it's actually not a premix. We actually ground it and make it with
Yeah.
actual masala chai, and a very very sweet. Our management out there is really really sweet, and they're handling it. And all the girls have learned from. We have one Polish girl, we have another person who's from Denmark, and they all know how to make masala chai now, which
That's
is good.
fantastic. Yeah.
And they all like going, the best masala chai in town. And not Indian, so it's like kind of funny, but it's amazing. So that's a complete melting pot, as you can see.
Yeah. So
So
10
yeah,
years later, you'll be serving
uh,
masala chai
I
and
hope
leather
so. We will.
trunks. Where else?
I think I'm going to be. We are actually really focusing on opening more places outside India.
Yeah.
It's been a good experience. It's honestly the reason, and I'm being very truthful right now. It's just easier to do business there, and it's so difficult to open a store in India and get hassled by 10 other elements which are not related to your business. And out there is very systematical, and which is what I love. It just makes my life a lot simpler. And I'm like, if I'm paying the same, rentals in India are not cheap. And if I'm paying 30% more, I'd rather pay 30% more and get something where I don't need the headache of certain
Yeah.
other elements, which you know what I'm talking about. and
Fair enough.
and uh, and that's the reason. That's one of the reasons. But other than that, I think the brand is got a really European Scandinavian kind of vibe. So we are kind of focusing on Scandinavia, maybe Copenhagen or Helsinki, and to see, and we're exploring opportunities there and seeing if we can take the brand over there. States obviously hasn't been on the radar; it's too far for me at this point of time, and I don't have the funds.
It
And
also requires scale, right? America's a giant.
States is a completely different. It's like a juggernaut of sorts. Like if you go there, you need to be completely geared up for what you're getting into. And if you are a hit, then you don't want to lose that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
You can't go unprepared to the US. And though we do sell at Anthropology and we do sell at other places, but still, if we do end up opening a store, I know exactly where I want my store in New York, though, in which street, what corner. So I've figured that out. I'm going to manifest it and see if it ever happens.
It
But
will happen.
at this point of time, it's focus India and focus in Europe. So in 10 years, I think have a lot more locations and evolve as a brand. And I think it needs to evolve. Nappa Dori is still non-mature, and we always have benchmarks of all these European brands, but no one understands that they've been there for about 100 years. And so we're a speck in the entire thing. So we'll get there though.
Gautam, I love your company. I love what you're doing with it, and I can only see it go onward and upward. So, congratulations, and thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking the time and sharing with me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's always fun to talk to you.
If you enjoyed the show or not, write to me on Instagram, Twitter, or Clubhouse at Namrata Zakaria. For updates on Tell Me How You Did It, follow us at HT Smartcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse. To listen to more podcasts, log on to htsmartcast.com or suno naye nazariye se.